The light of love dispels darkness. I am love. I am the light. Hello and welcome. I'm Claudette Dean. I'm a visual artist, a writer, and most importantly, a spiritual warrior. The light of love dispels darkness. I am love. I am the light is a mantra that I wrote to place inside of a prayer wheel that I created to show at an art exhibition. The light has always been and continues to be the most important theme in my work. And I know how fortunate I am to have creativity as my gift. I can paint the light, I can write about the light, but I'm very much aware that the most important gift I can share with the world is to be the light. About 25 years ago, circa 1995, I had a most amazing dream. And it came at a time in my life where I would say I was at the peak of my spiritual quest to merge, to know, and to merge with the divine. In the dream, I was on a bus, a crowded bus. I didn't know the other people on the bus, and I was sitting at the back of the bus. A friend of mine got on the bus, came down the aisle, and presented me with an envelope, turned around, and got off the bus. When I opened the envelope, I found a piece of paper inside, and I opened it up, and there was a logo, or I guess a logo would be the best way to describe it at the top of the page. That was simply OT, but done in a very graphic, professional manner. The message itself was written in pictogram form, and so it was part picture, part word, and sort of like a puzzle that I had to decipher. And the message was clear and very simple. And it was this: remember, a light shines in the darkness without the help of a movie projector. And so it made me smile because it was a bit of Zen like humor, I suppose. And I did get the gist of the message. But I have to say, it wasn't until preparing for this presentation that I remembered the dream, as I often have over these 25 years. And the profound simplicity of the message became very clear. And it was simply that I am the light and there's no need to project anything else. And as far as the OT goes, well, right after I had the dream, I thought about it a lot because it was very significant and I needed to figure it out. And then it just dawned on me it was simply a message from over there. Again, it made me smile. So my spiritual guides obviously have a good sense of humor, and they know that I need it because I can get very serious with all of that. And sometimes we just need to lighten up and enjoy things, right? And so that was the first of many very significant dreams that I've had over the years and have been blessed with. And they always come to give me clarity or to give me encouragement when I really need it. And so now, as a way of introducing you and sharing with you my art, I'm going to share a video of the very first solo exhibition that I had in 2008. It was not only my first solo exhibition, but it was my, as I came to know later, my awakening exhibition. And I think it's really the most important exhibition I've had so far. And so and by the way, the name of the exhibition, Lumière, which I'm sure a lot of you know, means light in French. So enjoy, and I shall join you again right afterwards.
I'm Claudette Dean, and I'm so pleased to welcome you to Lumière, which means light in French, by the way. As an artist, I found that by and large, people like yourself who go to art exhibitions are very much interested in and intrigued by the process an artist goes through in order to create a body of work that will eventually become an exhibition. First of all, let me tell you that the process is never twice the same. And in the case of Lumière, it was a revelation, even to myself. What usually happens is that a theme is set out for a show, and you work towards that theme for a specified amount of time. This was not the case with Lumière. The theme of this exhibition revealed itself once I had completed the paintings. Sounds strange? Well, very often in art, the finished piece is a revelation not only to the viewer, but to the artist as well. Have you ever considered the circular nature of things, how the ending of one cycle marks the beginning of a new one? Well, during the summer of 2006, after a one-woman show in Canada that I felt was a full circle event for me, I came back home to the Bahamas ready to start anew, determined to reconnect to the source of my creativity to begin a new circle. Without a plan in mind and committed to painting freely with as little outside influence as possible, I secluded myself in my studio and began working. The end result is the exhibition you are about to experience, Lumière. What you'll probably notice first is that there are two types of paintings, single canvas and multi-canvas. The single canvas paintings were the first ones completed. Where the darkness meets the light depicts a woman in a curled up position with a giant butterfly behind her, illuminating the composition. The position of the figure, for those of you who are not familiar with my work, is one that I'm very fond of using. This particular painting, however, differs from my usual depiction in that the figure is in fact myself. The butterfly, no doubt signifying that a transformation is about to take place. The seeker depicts a woman on a path that leads up the mountain. The surreal elements in the composition, such as the mobile flowering trees that are almost showing her the way, and the three suns at the top of the mountains, indicate that the journey is symbolic and is no doubt an inward journey. The feel of this painting, again, for those of you who are not familiar with my work, is vintage Claudette Dean, especially the use of gold leaf, which I use in this case as a reference to the yellow brick road, where lotus bloom. On first observation, you may think the composition is simply lotus on a pond. The multiple suns may lead you to wonder a little, and then on closer observation, you will notice that the yellow in the lotus are actually women's faces, and the roots in the water are actually forming the rest of the women's garments. Now everything comes to focus, and all you can see are the women with faces turned up towards the sun. The inspiration behind this painting was a quote I read, which spoke of how the beautiful lotus flowers bloom from the murky waters of a muddy pond. These women have come out of the darkness and found their light source and can breathe again. In full bloom, I continued the idea of woman and lotus flowers with the concept I had previously explored. Now, not only are their faces in the sunlight, but their whole body, conveying the idea of the woman being in full bloom spiritually, as the lotus is often used as a symbol for enlightenment. Lobe, or dawn, uses again a realistic figure, and again the figure is myself. She's sleeping in the stars, and then the sun is rising, and she is set on the canvas as if she is also rising from the horizon. Symbolic again of a new day, an awakening, the light after the dark. I painted this particular painting after a trip to Santa Fe. For those of you who've been there, you'll understand the native feel of the piece. As is obvious, there's a definite theme evolving here of duality, of darkness and of light, of transformation. You'll also note the use of multiple suns and of elements of nature. Bear in mind, again, that I have no theme in mind at this point, and that I'm simply painting as I am inspired to do so. There is, however, a story beginning to be revealed by the paintings themselves. Now we come to the multi-canvas paintings. Here I will explain that an invitation came my way to participate in an exhibition in Nassau in the spring of 2007. It was an opportunity I did not want to pass up, so at this point I laid my paintbrush down on the work I had been doing and began to think of a theme for a small body of work that would fit for this particular show. Since the sun had been so dominant in the pieces I had been producing, I thought of using a theme where the light source would be the focus of the composition, something light and fun. After sitting at the drawing board for at least 2 hours, unhappy with anything I'd been coming up with, I had a revelation. I could paint the sun rising and setting and rising again using multiple canvases, and I would call the piece 24 Hours. The whole theme could be about the circular nature of the universe, about cycles and phases, and about how it all related to humanity and our everyday lives. The multiple canvases were perfect. They actually represented the puzzle-like nature of the universe, how everything is connected, the circle of life. The show in Nassau was a success. I returned to my studio to continue where I had left off, this time with the vision in mind. I had found what I've been looking for, a new direction that spoke to my basic beliefs, a positive message I could share through my art. I began sketching with the idea of multiple canvases in mind and of actually creating a design, not just with the image, but with the actual canvases. I went right back to the sun and the moon. Luna was the first piece. Using 7 canvases of varying sizes, I set out to depict the moon filling and emptying again with the full moon in the center. The moon has long had associations with woman, the feminine or the receptive side of nature, and so the woman transparent in the sky represents the moon itself, calm, serene, and powerful, controlling the tides, the ocean also having associations with the beginning of life, the salt water, the womb. Saul, I could not paint the feminine without painting the masculine, the creative, the other half of the duality. And so the man transparent in the sky actually represents the sun itself. He's controlling the sunrise and the sunset, strong and active. Here again, I used 3 different canvases and positioned them with the sun at noon at the highest point. Gestation. With this piece, I went back to the moon, the idea of it going from empty to full and back again to empty, like the empty womb filling with life and emptying to give birth. Playing once again with design using multiple canvases. Sunergy, back to the sun again, rising and setting, and using ribbons to represent the vibrant, free-flowing, uplifting energy of the sun. The Artist. The Artist was a piece I began in 2004, which at that time, funnily enough, I named a work in progress. I continued working on it, and it became The Artist. It represents, of course, me as the artist with paintbrush and palette. When I took a second look at it, I was amazed at how well it fit with the piece Sunergy, and decided it definitely had to begin this exhibition. This time had come. Consequently, I created a series of 12 round paintings called Sunergy Wheels, which I used to connect the whole show together. Sun signs. I would have been remiss to paint the sun and the moon and forget the stars, so I thought it would be fun to paint the zodiac. Since everything else in nature has an effect on humanity, I feel it's likely that the position of the planets at the time of our birth does have an effect on us as well. Also, the position of the constellations in the sky reveal the seasons. Everything is connected. Renewal. This multi-canvas piece put together like a puzzle speaks to this concept of renewal in several ways. The sun and the sky go from midday to sunset, to midnight to sunrise, back to midday again. The tree branches go from summer to fall to winter to spring, back to summer again. The branches reach for the sky, and their roots reach for the water. Now that all of the pieces were complete, the story was revealed. The paintings speak of a journey of personal illumination, of how everything in life and in nature is connected, and in fact, in a constant cycle of renewal, often referred to as a circle of life. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the exhibition as you immerse yourself in Lumière.
Yes, so I hope you enjoyed that. It always puts a smile on my face when I watch the video. I seemed so young and naive then, and as I say, I didn't realize it then, although some people did, that it was actually my awakening exhibition. And shortly thereafter, everything else, all of the missing puzzles, as far as my spiritual quest was concerned with, fell into place. And so in 2010, when I was preparing to put together my second solo exhibition titled Inner Sanctum, I got a prompt to include poetry in with the paintings. I had never before written any serious poetry, but given the prompt, I decided that I should try. And so you remember the painting in the video, Luna, it was sitting there or hanging there in my studio when I picked up the pen, and I thought, the moon is always inspiring, so let me start with the moon and try to write a poem for it. And so the poem I'm about to read to you now is the very first poem that I've ever written that was serious, and the first poem I wrote for this show, and it is called Mystical Madam. Madam Moon tugs at my heartstrings, sending provocative messages with the tide that I too am a mystical madam, a beautiful but empty vessel, desperate to be filled with your fiery elixir of light, eager to share it with the darkness, a willing accomplice as is she, desperate to fill, ready to flood hidden holes of longing with light and ignite sleeping hearts, which like sun-kissed lotus buds burst open, perfuming the dawn with the sacred fragrance of your love in full bloom. The next one is called Universal Song. Alone I sat in the quiet darkness of the inner sanctum, writing love notes on the moonbeam streaming in like endless reams of silver gossamer. I wrote and wrote until at last you replied with a bouquet of golden sunbeams sent to warm my heart, like bright promises of a new day written by the sun. Your sweet serenade echoed through my spirit. Then my heart, no longer mine but yours, began beating to the joyous rhythm of your universal song of oneness. And one more, which is called Sweet Whisper. Once upon a moonlit dream, not so long ago, a strange, exotic, perfumed breeze swept in from the mystic, brushing gently across my spirit, softly whispering to my heart, you are the beloved's, the beloved is yours. Then it wrapped itself around me in a passionate embrace, and as the moon disappeared into the sun, I disappeared into the beloved. And so I think it was quite obvious that these love poems to the divine that spilled out of me really showed my very now strong connection to source, to light, to the divine. And so now with the inclusion of poetry in my repertoire, the written and spoken word became more and more important as a means of self-expression. In 2012, I wrote and performed Resurrection, a performance art video, which was featured at the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas in their 6th national exhibition titled Kingdom Come. It speaks directly to the issue of identity, and I'd like to share it with you now. Enjoy.
From the minute we are born, layer upon layer of labels and identities begin to conceal and separate us from one another. Veil after veil, I remove all that I think I am and all that I think I have to be. Exposed and vulnerable, without labels or identities, I stand only as truth. And in the silence of the heart, I remember, I am that I am. I am you, you are me. I am coming into a physical existence. I am a white female. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am Catholic. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am Catholic. I am Rose and Pitt's sister. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am Catholic. I am Rose and Pitt's sister. I am Donald's wife. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am Catholic. I am Rose and Pitt's sister. I am Donald's wife. I am Bahamian. I am a white female. I am Irene and Roland's daughter. I am Canadian. I am Catholic. I am Rose and Pitt's sister. I am Donald's wife. I am Bahamian. I am Don and Deshay's mother. I am all of these labels and many more, and yet I feel invisible. I'm suffocating. Who am I? Who are you? I have a voice. I am not a pile of labels. I am more than Don and Deshay's mom. I am more than Donald's wife. I am more than Rose and Pitt's sister. I am more than Irene and Roland's daughter. I am more than a Canadian and a Bahamian. I am not confined to one religion. I am more than a physical body in the form of a white female. I am Claudette Dean. I am an artist. I am a wife, a mother, a daughter, a friend, a sister. I am a part of creation. I am a member of the human race. I am a citizen of the world. I am a unique physical manifestation of love. I am you. You are me.
Yes, and so that was my resurrection video. After this video, I went on to produce another one-woman show entitled Beautiful Burden, and the light was very much a part of that as well. I created a series of paintings that I called chalices, with the idea that everything here on the planet is a chalice for the light. And later on, a few years later, I joined a writers club. And after having been given a prompt at one of the clubs, I wrote a little story. And to my amazement, a whole novel spilled out over a 2-year period. And in 2018, I published my first novel called Smelling Roses, A Tale of Connection and transformation. In the novel, there's a fifth dimensional entity that is called Magnus, and he speaks through a channel who is the main character. His name is Charles, and throughout the book, he makes certain pronouncements. And there's one pronouncement that I chose that I think is relevant to this video that I'd like to share with you now. And it says, "The one known to you as Jesus lived as a man, yet moved in the awareness of his divinity. This was his example. Although the physical is ephemeral, the divine from which it emanates is eternal. Living in this awareness is indeed the way, the truth, and the light." So, in closing, as I remember who I am, I urge you to do the same. Be aware of the divinity that moves through you and live in that awareness. The light of love dispels darkness. You are love. You are the light. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll look forward to answering any and all of your questions in the live session with the amazing Lisa Gunshore. And in the meantime, if you'd like to know more about me and my work, you can go to my website, claudettedean.com. And if you do, please leave me a message via the comment link. I would love to hear from you. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. Until we meet again.
What is life? What is death? What am I doing here? Who am I without?
I sat up in bed and I realized in that instant of sitting up in bed and breathing, I went, "Ugh," like this breathing in air. I realized I hadn't been breathing the whole time that I would have been in this experience. And I made that sound so loudly, it woke Tony up, and he sat up and said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't know, but my life will never be the same again."
It got bigger and bigger and brighter until it was filling in every direction, and it was made up of lights and flames and white, and just got closer and closer, and then all of a sudden it hit me.
But suddenly there was like this kind of like this portal just opened, that there I could just sense that I have access to all the information in the universe.
So I had like this very deep connection with my team, offered up this prayer, and within like 2 months, my entire life fell apart. So, Spirit doesn't mess around. And when you ask, it is always given.
And then in that dream, I understood that what I am is mirrored throughout the whole cosmos, that I'm part of all of that. I am literally part of everything in the cosmos, and all of that is part of me. It can be seen by me through these mirrors. And so I felt like this web of life, you cannot unplug from it. You cannot get out of it. No matter what you do, you are in it, and it is glorious. And all of that energy and potential and creativity and possibility is ours. And that all of the universe is reflected in our very being, in our very selves. And everything that we are is reflected throughout the whole universe too. There is no separateness. There is no such thing as anything being separate.
2020, what a ride. My life is 100,000 times better than I ever imagined it could be.